Hey, this is Joe for the Joe Wentz Project, and you're watching Show Me Your Pick right here on YouTube with Fruitcake Tony. Now back to the show.
Hey, hey.
Who was that? Someone dropped the bomb. Hey.
Explosion.
What's happening?
Something fall out of the Jefferson Starship.
What
was that? How you doing?
Literally,
Excellent.
Happy May Day.
May
Day.
1st, May Day.
It's going to be May.
May Day, May Day, May Day.
Great night to be streaming here with Fruitcake Tony and the live crew.
Yep. Doing Jefferson Starship, Jefferson Airplane, and Starship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
all three bands that I haven't seen. That's okay.
We've got a great guest joining us.
We do. We got
Do you have an unboxing of any sorts going on? Or?
No, don't think I do.
Anything new come in that you want?
Yeah, I got a couple of new stuff going on. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Couple of always getting guitar picks. Always.
And Brendan said last week it must be fun going to your mailbox, and I agree.
Oh, it's like Christmas every day. Gotta be.
Yeah, gotta be.
Except for the bills. Except for the bills.
Yeah. Well, in a way. Yeah. So yeah, we got a special guest waiting in the green room that a lot of you are gonna know by name.
Ooh,
but
we know him.
You're gonna get to meet him.
We do.
Yeah.
We've talked to him 100 times.
And he is a great guy.
Yeah.
Heck of a nice guy. Fellow North Carolinian too. Yeah.
Nice. Who is it? Well, who is it, Tony?
Well,
don't keep us in suspense.
Let's just go ahead and bring him on in.
Bring him in.
So, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce the one and only. He says he's never been live on YouTube before. He plays guitar. He's got a YouTube channel, and he puts music out on it. But we all know him in this community. He supports this community wonderfully.
He does.
In many of our shows. And he is great. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Charles Greene.
Yeah.
And there he is right there.
How are you guys doing?
Good, Charles.
Good to
What's
see you guys.
happening?
Good to see
Hey.
you.
Making his YouTube debut.
Yeah, this is a first. This is a first.
And it won't be the last, I'll tell you. You get addicted to it.
Very cool. Very cool.
You do.
It's good to
Yep.
see all of you guys. It's really good,
Good
to
to
see
see you, Charles.
Hell yes.
Welcome, man. Welcome.
Yeah.
So good to have you here tonight, man. Yeah.
Yes.
One of my favorite shows, Tony. I love this show.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you. Yeah, gosh, it's so good to have you on,
You're
Charles.
getting a lot of love in the chat, Charles. Janice says, wow. Dwight Bailey says hello.
Yeah.
Mike Johnson, Lenny Lou.
Oh, I
It's
know
nice
all you
to
guys.
finally put a
Yeah.
live person with a name and an
I know.
avatar that you see in the chat.
Awesome.
He's like right here, and
It's
like,
good
oh
to
my
see all of
God.
you guys. I talk to you all the time. It's good to see you. Absolutely.
World's
Good to
okayest
hear.
guitar player, welcome.
Yeah.
North Carolina dude. All
Paramutant.
right.
Thanks to everybody tuning in.
Yeah,
I
man.
will be there shortly.
Dwight Bailey, Lenny Lou, and Mary, Mike Johnson. The world's okayest guitar player.
That's a great name.
It is.
Mary's
Original
ecstatic.
Paramutant.
Mary's ecstatic, Charles.
You
You
see,
got Mary. Yeah, she's very excited.
I love
Johnson.
Mary. I love Mary.
Hello, Mike.
Mary's awesome. So's
Lenny
Lenny.
Lou too. Absolutely.
Yep, Lenny Lou's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Nice.
Very cool, man.
So Charles,
Charles Greene, everybody.
welcome, man. Welcome. So me and Charles have gotten to know each other a little bit in this past year. He lives here in North Carolina. Now, you used to live on the West Coast, right, Charles?
I was born and raised in California. Born in 61, graduated high school in 79. So, yeah, and I was there for another few years. And then it's a good story. You want me to just tell you a story?
Yeah,
Tell you
absolutely.
a story?
Absolutely, yes.
Tell us
All
the
right.
story.
So I graduated high school in 79, and by the middle of 80, it was a summer day. It was around 11 o'clock, and a friend of mine pulled up in his truck, and he was going to the Air Force recruiting office. And the first thing out of my mouth was, "You'll never pass the drug test." And the second thing was, "You really don't need to do that. You're too young." I'm trying to talk him out of it. He's dead set on going. So I tell him, I said, "Hey, I'll go with you. And I'll try my best to keep you." I mean, we were joking around, but I was trying to keep him from doing it. He didn't need to do that. And so we're on our way to the Air Force office, and we're driving up Artesia Boulevard out of Manhattan Beach into Redondo Beach, California. And I see my friend Jeff in his truck coming towards us down the other way. So we pull over, he pulls over. I jump out and I run across to talk to him. And he says to me, he says, "Hey, look, you need to come work with me tonight." And I said, "Well, where at?" And he says, "Well, we're at the Whiskey A Go-Go." And I said, "Whiskey, what are we going to do?" And he says, "Hart is playing a show there tonight. And I met a guy who has a security company, and he said he needs a couple of big guys. He said he told me to bring a friend." I turned around, I looked at Dave, my friend in the other truck. I said, "Dave, you're on your own, brother." And I got in Jeff's truck, and we took off.
Nice.
Dave did not join the Air Force. Let's just go that way.
Okay.
Good.
So anyway, about 6 hours later, I am literally standing in front of Ann and Nancy Wilson's dressing room door.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
And at 20 years old,
Oh, yeah.
19, I wasn't even quite 20 at that time. I was in heaven.
Yeah.
Okay. It was unbelievable. And so I'm standing there doing my job. I assimilated to it really well. I fit right in. And I met a few people, and I started doing those kind of jobs. Now, I didn't stay at the Whiskey. at that point, I ended up working for West Security, which is Western Event Services today. We did all the concerts in California. And that's pretty much what I did for about a 4-year period. We worked for West and we just did shows. So I've seen a lot of concerts. I've seen a lot of people watching concerts as well, because when you're in the front of the stage, you don't
you're looking out, right?
people. So I've heard a lot of bands behind me. That's anything. Anyway, make a long story short, I start working with these guys, and the thing with my buddy Jeff, he calls me up again. He says, "Hey, there's another show at the Whiskey. You want to come and work it?" And I said, "Absolutely. Let's do this thing." So we did a show for Dave Mason and Fleetwood Mac. It was Dave Mason's birthday party. They moved the show to the Roxy up the street. It was supposed to be in the Whiskey. They moved it to the Roxy. And give you a brief history, the Roxy, the Rainbow Club, and the Whiskey A Go-Go were owned by a man named Mario Maglione. And he managed the Roxy. That was his baby. His nephew, Louis, ran the Whiskey. However, they had a manager who would manage the club, but Louis did the upstairs bar, and he had his finger on the pulse of everything that went on in that place. And then there was another manager who worked the Rainbow Club. So it was a normal thing for me to work either at the Roxy, the Whiskey, or some venue that had something to do with those clubs. So after working a couple of shows, I was there one night, and the manager came up to me and he asked me if I would like to have a full-time job working at the Whiskey. And I said, yeah, I would love that. That would be great, because I really liked the family that ran the clubs. And I had I had an affection for Mario Maglione. He was a wonderful individual. He was just a giving guy. He took care of a lot of people. And I'll tell you some Motley Crue stories. He took care of those boys 100%. But that being said, he asked me if I wanted a job there. I said that would be awesome. They gave me a position down on the floor at first, and then I worked my way up backstage bouncer. So for 14 months, 1980, the middle of 1980 to the end of 1981, I ran the backstage at the Whiskey Go-Go. Basically how it went. The thing that I got to see during that period of time, and I wish I had a camera, a cell phone, anything, it would have just been wonderful. I was talking with Tony the other day about it. I could have some pictures. I could have some really wonderful memories, but it's okay. I have them in my head, and I'll share some stories with you guys. Oh, hey, sweetie. All right. The Whiskey A Go-Go was essentially Motley Crue's home for the better part of a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Literally, though.
Oh, literally. They lived about 150 yards up the hill. And to back up a little bit, they were taken pretty good care of in a lot of ways. I got to know their manager, a guy by the name of Alan Kaufman. He essentially was their manager from the beginning up until the middle of 82, I believe it was. And he got him an apartment up the hill from the Whiskey, and he made sure that the water and the power was left on. And the place was pretty trashed. They were young kids, and there was a lot of partying going on there and things of that nature. But the funny thing about it is the first time I met Tommy Lee, he was just sitting at the bar talking with Louie. And I came up, I was talking to Louie, and I looked at him, and I introduced myself to him and said, hey. I didn't really realize he was in Motley Crue at the time. I didn't know that much about them. And it's funny, a couple of the other bouncers who worked there, and I was very close with a lot of people who worked on Sunset Strip in different clubs, the Starwood, the Troubadour, the Viper Room, Gazzari's. And I didn't realize at the time, he's a really nice guy. He's a very, very, very nice guy. And we became very friendly. So a couple of weeks later, they were on the bill to play the club. And I hadn't heard Motley Crue. I just had heard about Motley Crue. I heard there was a large following, and a couple of bouncers said, we're going to have problems. There's going to be a lot of wild this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Great.
Understatement.
Great.
Right.
Who knew, right? And so anyway, it's getting close to club time, close to the night time that they were going to play. It was a Friday night, and they sold out 2 shows on Friday, 2 shows on Sunday. Sold out. They always sold out. And so I'm there with one of the other bouncers. His name was Charlie, and this other guy named Randy. And we were the regulars at the club. That was our job. And they came up to me and they told me we're going to have some trouble and this and that, but I'm not going to like Motley Crue. They said they're just not going to like them. They're just just another hair metal band off the street, just down talking them. I said, okay, great. So I didn't really pay much attention to it and didn't really care too much, but I love a good band. I was loving the music, working at the whiskey, the music. My God, it was unbelievable, unbelievable. But I'm upstairs, and Motley Crue's in their dressing room, and I'm looking at these guys, and I'm saying, dude, these guys are badass. I mean, these guys are literally badass. And they were obviously a cut above. They were when you looking at all the bands and people who came through there. They were way cool, just way cool. But I wasn't that interested in them. And so they start their set. They go to the stage. We take them. I walk them to the stage. They get out. They go out the walk, and they get down on the stage, and they are getting ready to start their set. I mosey back upstairs. I'm in the very back top of the club on this long hallway that goes out to a fire escape, and they start their set. I have never ran to a stage show flipping fast in my life. It was outstanding. It was utterly unbelievable. It was something that I had never heard. And out of all the bands that I heard play the whiskey, I'll tell you something. They knocked it out of the park. Wow. Just boom, out of the park. And so I make this beeline to the stage. I come around the corner. I'm looking, and Alan Kaufman is standing there leaning against the wall. And he's just digging the music. And I walk up, and he sees me come up on his side, and I've got this look of astonishment on my face. And he looks over at me with this smirk, and he goes, "Not bad, eh?" And I just, holy shit. This shit, dude. And so from that moment forward, I was all about Motley freaking Crue, okay? Yeah. And so they played there often, every I would say every 9 weeks, 8 to 9 weeks, the Crue played the whiskey. 9, maybe 10 weeks. And we got much friendlier as time went by. I got to know the guys pretty well. I got to know their management pretty well. Stick and Barry, their roadies. These guys, rockers. The success of Motley Crue, I saw it happen from different angles, because if they didn't have the people behind them supporting them, those guys wouldn't have they'd have just imploded.
Yeah, they needed a little direction.
Well, wonderful on stage.
Little corralling.
Well, hey, they're young. These boys were young. I was 20 years old, and I'm hanging out with guys, and these guys are literally, I mean, they'd have been on the streets if they weren't being helped. Literally. And so me seeing that and everything, I just, I got close to them. I like those boys a lot to this day. And to say that the best part about it, though, I told Tony this story, and it's pretty cool. I used to have this perch that I used to stand on, and there was this flight of stairs to my right that went up, and a flight of stairs that went down to my left, and there was this big black steel door down at the left, and it opened out onto the side street of the whiskey. And you never know who would knock on that door. That door would be a boom, boom, boom. And you open that door, and you never knew who was going to be on the other side of it. And so, but anyway, one day, the Crue were playing on the weekend, and there's a knock at the door, and it was early. The first show hadn't even started yet. And I opened the door, and Alan Kaufman, their manager, is standing there, and he says, "Hey, Chuck," he says, "come with me, man. Help me get something out of the car." And So I said, sure. So I go to his car. He opens the trunk, and there's 3 boxes sitting in the trunk, about this big. And he hands me 2 of them, shuts the trunk, and then takes one from me. And we start to go into the club, and we're going up the stairs. And I don't know what's going on. I said, what's this? What are these, man? He goes, this is the boy's new album. I said, huh? He said, yeah, it's called Too Fast for Love. I said, really? He goes, yeah. I said, is it the set they play here? He goes, yeah. I said, you're kidding me. He goes, no. I said, they have an album in here. He goes, yeah. I said, can I get a copy? He goes, absolutely.
Nice.
So we go into the dressing room. The boys are sitting there, and they look up, and he has these boxes. It's their album, their very first copy of their first album. And so he opens the box. He pulls a bunch of pens out, and he says, hey, you guys want to sign some albums for some people? And they're like, yeah. And so you want to sign one for Chuck? They're like, yeah. So they signed me an album. They signed one for Mario. They signed one for Louis. They signed one for Michelle down in the ticket booth.
Nice.
They signed a bunch of albums,
That's
like
awesome.
a box full of albums. I have, when I got the 6th copy out of the first box, period.
Nice.
That they ever laid their eyes on too. That's
Well,
incredible.
Yeah, Tony. And the beauty of it is the look on their faces. They've never been so proud. I mean, it was,
sure.
and they had no money. Okay, these guys were broke. They were broke. They got $25 a week.
Wow.
You can't eat on 25. They got their room and board was paid for, but they didn't eat much. So having that album, it was a big deal to them. It was a big deal to everybody.
That's a huge
And
deal.
It is a huge
and you know, the quality of it is not that great, but it's
Great
awesome.
album. I
It's
love that
awesome. It is it's just awesome. Every time I listen
Carried
to it,
around.
oh, it's fantastic. And it's basically their set list verbatim. That's basically how they did it.
That's good. That's great.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun working there. I got to meet a lot of people. I met everybody. I met everybody in 1981. I used to get to hang out with Don Dawkins. There was no George Lynch at that time. It was just Don. He had a band. They played the Roxy. The Roxy is the last club they had played when I was at the Whiskey. And there was a period of time where Don really wasn't playing much in LA. So I didn't even get to see him with his first band. I missed him at the Roxy because I was working at the Whiskey when they played. And then I didn't get to see him until later. But I used to get to sit backstage with him and talk to him. He would try to get away from the heat, just hide. That's kind of what, they do. They like to get out of the crowd and chill out in the air conditioning because they crank the heat up in the club.
Let me ask you this, Charles, before we get past Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Now, you helped bring up the first couple boxes of their debut album.
Yeah.
And they whip it out and they autograph a few of them. Have you still got that album?
My copy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm dying with it. You want to see it?
Let's see it. Heck yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yes. Nice. Look at
That's
that.
It is weathered. It is weathered. It's 40 years old. It's 40 years old. Let me see if I can get it up like that right there. They signed it for me.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. The quality is it's a little cheesy by the way it was done.
What they write on it? They each wrote stuff.
Yeah, they each wrote me. They covered the back of the album. Tommy's got the best penmanship. Let me just throw that out there right now,
dude.
A couple of them, to be honest, they're kind of personal, and
that's all
really
good.
Want to read them? They're
totally fine.
Personal. But Tommy, I'll read Tommy's. If you want. I could do that. To Chuck, thank you so much, man. I love you. You're a great friend. I want you to crank this fucking album to 10. It's fucking awesome. Thank you, Tommy.
That's right on. That's amazing.
Yeah, a couple of those. maybe later down the road, I might share them with you guys. But
Do you still keep in touch with those guys now?
No, I haven't talked to Tommy in 36 years.
Oh, okay.
I haven't tried. He might see this. You never know.
You never know. And with those stadium tours coming back, that would be cool. That would be cool.
I'll see them when they come around. I've seen Motley Crue as many times as Tony's seen Van Halen. So,
well, if that thing actually happens, they have a Charlotte date.
It'll happen.
Oh, we're going, Tony.
We're going to.
We're going.
No doubt about I'm
that.
in.
There is a Charlotte date.
That is a done deal.
Yeah.
Done deal, man.
That Absolutely. Is so cool. That is so.
Have you got time for one more story?
We got time for a bunch more stories,
Absolutely,
Charles.
Man.
This is just getting good
I'll tell you
here.
I'll tell you a story.
Tell us another one. Come on, man.
So one night I get for a show. I'll tell you Saxon's story with Motley Crue and Ozzy. Yeah, that'll be even better. That'll be better. So I get to the whiskey one night, and there's a tour bus sitting in front on Sunset. I can't see the name on the front of the bus, but it was a tour bus, and I knew something was up. So I get in, I park in the back, and I come up into the club, and I see a bunch of roadies upstairs in the power room where all the breaker boxes are. And Red, his name was Red Keller. He was actually an actor. He was in a movie called American Hot Wax you got to check it out. YouTube that. It's a great movie. You should check it out. And he was there, and he looks all nervous, and he goes, Charlie. He called me Charlie. And he's got 2 fire extinguishers in his hand. And he goes, listen, you got the keys to this room? And I said, yes, sir. And he says, take these. And he hands them to me, and he says, these guys are in here, and they're skipping wires across breakers to try to get more power. And I said, who is this? And he goes, it's Saxon. I said, Saxon from England? He goes, yes. I said, and they're doing what? He says, they're skipping breakers to get more power so they can power their lights and their amps. Now, I'm 20 years old. I don't know what he's talking about, but okay, great. So long story short, showtime. I'm keeping my eye on the room in case there's smoke. He says, if this club catches on fire, he says, get everybody out and save this club, he says to me. I said, okay, you got it, Red, no problem. So anyway, Saxon's playing. They do the first show. The guys from the crew show up. Robin Crosby shows up from Rat.
Nice.
Stephen Piercy's there. Everybody was there. David Lee Roth showed up. A lot of guys showed up. And they do their set, and they were good. First night, they were there to do 5 shows is what they were supposed to do. 2 on Saturday, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. And so they took the club over for the weekend, literally took the place over. And first couple of shows were great. They were sold out. Second night, the first show was sold out. Second show, the fourth show on the second night was half full. By Sunday night, the club maybe had a fourth capacity in it. Management was a little upset. There was a little bit of bad feelings going on because they didn't evidently live up to the hype. This is what I was hearing from management. So, hey, it's all rock and roll. What are you going to do? And but on the third night there, all of the regulars, the crew, all the guys from Rat, they were there, and they were pissing off the guys from Saxon. They were taking all the girls, literally, and they were hanging out backstage and essentially stealing Saxon's thunder. Okay. So Biff, lead singer for Saxon, comes out of the dressing room. He walks right up to me, and he says, listen, I'm going to say it just how he said it. He says, Motley fucking Crue is not playing the whiskey tonight. Saxon is. I need these guys out of this backstage. And I looked him right in the eye and I said, dude, you've got more than that. You have no chance in hell of getting Motley Crue out of this club or out of this backstage in any way, shape, or form. I said, but I'll see what I can do for you. Just like that. Because, you got to take care of the act. I mean, they did sell out some shows, and they are performing at the Whiskey A Go-Go. We take care of customers. We take care of the bands. We take care of the acts. The talent is treated like gold, you know? And so I go down, I tell Louis what's going on. He just shakes his head. He goes, see if you can get the boys to come down and have a drink. Yeah, that's easy. We can make that happen probably. So I go up, I get Tommy, I grab Tommy, I pull him into the back. I said, Tommy, we got a problem. What's the problem? I tell him what the problem is. And he looks at me and he says, no way. I said, yeah. I said, can you guys like go to the bar for a while and let things cool off? He says, sure. So they go to the bar, but they're only gone for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And the whole thing just kept coming back. And so I'm dealing with this. And they're literally not happy with each other. And I won't go into a lot of details, but there was a lot of animosity flying. Okay. So anyway, I'm back at my perch at the backstage door, and it's very dimly lit, very dim. Kept it that way. And there's these two eyes looking at me from the darkness. Two eyes. I'm looking, I can't quite focus. I'm just looking, damn, it's the Prince of Darkness himself, fucking Ozzy, standing there lurking in the shadow.
Oh, nice.
I look at him, I said, Ozzy, damn, dude. He says, can I get backstage? Right this way, sir. So he goes up into the dressing room, and everything's really cool for a while because the guys from Saxon, he was there to see them. I mean, they're chums. They're from the same neck of the woods, you know.
That's cool.
And so I'm an Ozzy fan. Okay, so I'm fanboying at this point. I'm trying to hang out as close to that dressing room door as I can, maybe get inside if I could, literally. And anyway, I'm going to share you guys an awesome moment. On the other side of the Whiskey A Go-Go, kitty corner from it, was a Diary of a Madman, the billboard. It's 30 feet long, well, maybe 60 feet long and 30 feet tall. It was massive, massive. And it's the album cover, essentially, is what it was. So it's got Ozzy dressed like a werewolf.
Yep.
Right.
Diary of a Madman. Ozzy standing there with, so I get into, long story short, I get into the dressing room. I'm in there and I'm hanging out a little bit and I'm kind of looking over, and Ozzy is standing at this window. And at the Whiskey, and when you're in the upstairs #1 dressing room, there's a wall of window glass that goes around, and you can literally stand there and look at just a beautiful vista of Sunset Boulevard. It's spectacular. And you can look right across the street and see that billboard. And so,
billboard.
it was so cool. So Biff has got his arm around Ozzy, and they're standing there. And he was so wasted that he didn't realize he was looking at his own billboard.
Oh, no.
Biff says to me, says, Ozzy, what's it like looking at your image across the street? And Ozzy says, what do you mean? Just blank. And Biff goes, no, your album, you're right here. And Ozzy finally noticed. He was like, oh, it's fucking great, man. It's great, you know? And so I was just like, shit, Ozzy's wasted, you know? He was. And so anyway, he was there for a little bit longer and he left. He ended up coming back down and out. And everything was really cool. But it was the last show for Saxon there. And they ended up leaving. Everything was cool at that point. And the thing about it is the crew played there about a week later. It was like a week later. And the crew were playing there, and they were sold that place out. Bam, no problem. It was a wonderful show. It was absolutely fantastic. But something happened during that show that was just extraordinary. It was really weird. And it's kind of the only time that this thing has like happened to me when I was working there. I get to the show one night. I show up. It's a Friday. I come walking upstairs, and I'm anxious because I get to see the guys and everything. And Tommy's standing in the hallway, and he looks so depressed. He looked just bummed out, and his head was hanging down. He was just distraught looking. And I was like, dude, what's up? And he goes, Chuck, you got to help me, man. And I said, what's up, man? He goes, my parents are coming to the show tonight. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, you don't understand. He said, my dad, he just had open bypass surgery. And it was like a triple bypass. It might have been a double or a quadruple, but I think he said triple. Major, big deal in 1981. And he says, and they haven't seen us play live.
Oh,
They
boy.
saw us play, practicing one time, and I guess it was maybe a studio, I think he said, but they hadn't seen them play.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. So is he okay? And he says, well, it's been about 5 days since he got out of the hospital. He's very weak, but they insist on coming to the show. I don't know what to do. I can't just have them come into the whiskey. The place is crowded. There's nowhere to sit. What are they going to do? I said, well, who's coming? I said, be my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother. Now, I knew his sister. I'd met his sister a couple of times. And so I said, well, let me see what I can do. So I went down to Louis. I said, Louis, we got a problem. What's the problem? He said, well, we got somebody coming here. It's Tommy's mom and dad. They're on the guest list. I said, there's going to be 4 of them. They need somewhere to be where I can keep an eye on them, make sure they're comfortable. And he says, he points right over my shoulder. And if you've ever been to the whiskey, I don't know if you haven't, I'll describe it. You come up to the second level, and there's a flight of stairs you come up, and there's a bar right off the stairs to your right. And then there's a little jetty that goes down a wall, and it's where the go-go girls back in the 60s used to dance in the cages, because they had cages that were up suspended.
Cool.
And I said, right there are 2 bar tables. You can put the 4 of them right there. They'll have their own waitress. I can keep an eye on them. You can keep an eye on them. And it's the best seat in the house. Literally the best seat in the house. And nobody will mess with them. And he said, done. So I went back up, told Tommy, boom, boom, boom. They didn't have to go through the front. They came through the side door. We took them in, got them in. They watched the show. You want to talk about an absolutely dumbfounded look on these people's face.
Yeah, I bet.
When I opened the door, they looked like they were going to church. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, they looked like they were going to church. They were so out of place. But there's really great people. They were so, so cool. And he didn't look so good. He looked weak. His dad looked weak. He was pale. But we got him up into the club. We got him seated. They saw the show. It was absolutely spectacular. One of their best shows ever. And after the show, I got to walk them to their car. So I'm walking to the car. They're parked a freaking quarter mile down Sunset Boulevard. And I'm walking with them, and they're not saying a whole lot. It was like they were shell-shocked. I mean, they literally proud parents, you know? And so anyway, to make a long story even shorter, I got a kiss from his mom. I got a kiss from his sister. I got a handshake from his brother, and I got the biggest hug from his dad.
That's
It
awesome.
was awesome. Very awesome.
That is
Got
awesome.
back to the club. Got a kiss from Tommy Lee. Big sloppy right there.
Yeah,
And priceless.
that's a great
Priceless.
story, man. It's something that you'll never forget. You know,
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
those are awesome stories to stay with you.
Yeah.
And
Fantastic.
working at that place
Yeah.
in 1980 and
Ah, man, that's-
1981.
Yeah,
It's a
that
dream
era.
come true for a kid.
Ooh,
Yeah,
You
it was
Lord have mercy.
it was a wonderful place to work.
Right.
You know, if you liked music, working in clubs was wonderful. I used to love the Strip. You know, I miss the Sunset Strip. It's changed a lot, and it's nothing like it used to be. But going to the Roxy and the Rainbow, you know, Lemmy was a fixture. He had his own seat at the bar.
Hey, Johnny.
You know, that's Lemmy's seat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I got to see Robin Williams. I got to talk with him on a couple of occasions.
He's great. I met him.
I got
He's
to
a great
talk with a
guy.
lot of people. I was telling Tony, I saw John Belushi. It would have been, so it was 3:00 in the morning the last time I saw him, and he passed away 24 hours later
Oh wow.
in the bungalow down the street about 2 miles
Wow.
from where I was talking with him. One night I was standing doing my thing, and there was a boom boom at the door. You never know who's going to be behind that freaking door. And I opened it up, and there's John Belushi standing there. I said, "Hey man, you're John Belushi."
He goes, I know.
Wow, that's right. You call everybody, you know. And so he came in. He was just hanging out, and you know, partying, doing his thing. And so after the show that night, he left. Said goodbye to him, and it was, hey, I met John Belushi. How cool is that? So I was dating this waitress who worked there, and she had a friend who was in a cover band doing Stones covers. Right next to the whiskey is a private club. It's a beautiful bar. When you walk in, it's very narrow, very long, and very tall. So you can look up. It's very spacious inside, but it's just a shotgun bar right next to the whiskey. And we had the keys to it. And so we would go over there after shows, and they would play. They'd practice. They had their instruments over there, and they'd literally do some Stone songs. It was really cool. And so anyway, we were there after the show. So it was 3 o'clock, 3:15, maybe even 3:30 in the morning this night. And we decided it's time to go. We're walking out of the club, and I came outdoors first. I was the first one outdoors. Everybody else had left. Everyone had left except for me and this guy, Mike. And Mike was locking the door, so his back was to me, and I'm standing on Sunset Boulevard, and it was a really weird night because it was silent. It was just as silent as it's ever been, and that's odd for Sunset Boulevard, even at 3 o'clock in the morning. And it was just this eerie silence, and I heard this whooshing sound from my right, which would have been from the west end of Sunset, coming up sort of over this rise down the hill past the Roxy, and you could see this limousine is coming towards me. And I'm looking at it, and it slows down, and it stops right across from me on Sunset on the other side of the street. And John Belushi jumps out. He goes, "Hey, pal, can I get a beer?" As he's walking up to me. And he walks right up to me, and I said, "John," I said, "we just locked the door. We don't have any alcohol or anything, I don't think, Let me ask Mike." And I turned to Mike, and Mike goes, "No, we're closed, man. I'm sorry." And Mike was kind of my boss. Mike was kind of my boss. And
that's
so
John fucking Belushi, though.
Yeah, you're close for that.
I turned back to John, and I said, "No, I'm sorry, John. We're closed up. We don't have one." He said, "That's cool, pal." He says, "You take care. I'll see you later." And he turns around and struts back to that limo, jumps in it, and takes off down Sunset. If I had it to do over again, I'd have drugged that motherfucker in there. He might still be alive, I regret that to this day. Big regret.
That's tough.
Yeah. But that's Hollywood. I mean, that's how it was. Yeah. You just never know. Penny Marshall. Remember Penny Marshall? From Laverne and Shirley.
Laverne and Shirley, yeah.
Yeah, she was a regular. She'd be in. You'd see her. I saw everybody. I didn't see? I didn't see George Lynch. I never saw George Lynch because he wasn't a Dokken thing at that time. Dokken was playing guitar in his band at that time, and it was a different lineup. I think he still had Jeff. I believe Jeff Pilson was still in the band at that time, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that kind of stuff went on. Well, we could do this for hours, guys.
You could do a whole show about whiskey. You have to have a whiskey show.
You got the stories. Goodness.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
While it's on my mind, let's show the kids, guys, what we're going to give away a little later in the show.
Yes, stay tuned for
so there is your Starship Craig Chaquico guitar pick right there.
Great pick.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We're going to have a Jefferson Starship trivia question. Somebody's going to win that thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Somebody is going to win it.
That's cool. Cool.
Very cool.
Lenny Lou and Mary. Hello, ladies.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few more have strayed in. Johnny Bean, hey now.
Hey,
Johnny, what's going on, man?
BC 581, hello. I don't know if we said it earlier, but the world's okayest guitar player.
Yeah, I think he
Dan of
took
New
off,
Jersey
but
came
yeah, he's good.
straight in.
Yeah, yeah. World okayest guitar player.
Thanks to everybody tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now boot me out of here.
Absolutely. Boot you out of here. Okay, you are out of
Gone.
here.
You
Gone. She gone.
She gone.
She gone. Oh Lord.
So, original Paramutant's first concert was Jefferson Starship. Nice.
Nice.
That's very cool.
Nice.
That'd be a good first
Nice.
concert, you know?
Great first
Yeah.
concert. Great first concert.
My first concert was Chicago, the band Chicago, in 1980. So,
Mine was Kiss. I was 10 years old.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was 12 when I saw Chicago. I couldn't hear for like 2 days after, you know? But, you know, it's just right there, but and never been to a show. And like, holy crap, I can't hear, you know? So I didn't wear earplugs. It was loud. So,
Yeah.
I think my first show was Judas Priest. I believe
that's a great
so.
first show.
Yeah.
Hey, John.
That's an awesome first show, man.
That's a way to start it out.
Yep.
I think that when I saw Kiss, it was the Rock and Roll Over tour.
Uh-huh.
It was when I first saw him. I think I saw him again the next year. Love Gun tour. Yeah.
Yeah, my experience with Jefferson Starship was just seeing Mickey Thomas. You know, I didn't really listen to the before stuff. Couple of things, but I guess that's for me. That's when they really, because I'm like an MTV kid, you know.
Yeah.
So I equate most things with videos. So if, you know,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, if the video is good, I probably like the band, you know. So
Yeah. Well, when MTV came out in, I guess,
81,
1980,
82. It's like 81, 82. It really got going, I think. Yeah.
It was 80, and what they played videos.
Right.
That's all 24 hours. It was video after video, and I would sit and watch it for hours and hours and hours. I mean, an unhealthy amount of time.
Oh yeah.
You know, unhealthy amount of time, and they, in those days, they would play, you know, old Van Halen, those Oakland clips. That was the first you saw that. They'd play old Nugent and old Aerosmith, and a lot of bands who I didn't know, you know, but in the years to come, 81, 82, 83, a lot of bands really got their start with the help of MTV. So,
absolutely.
But the first few years of MTV at the time for technology, man, it was just a godsend, because all you had was, you know, Don Kirshner's rock concert on the weekend at night.
Friday night videos.
If they played a good band, or American Bandstand, and that's all you saw.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, you all music all the time. I would come home from school, even just sit there. I'd be there for the rest of the night, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, we all did. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We certainly did. So Jefferson Airplane made their debut at the Matrix on August 13th, 1965.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a long
interesting
time ago.
how they transform themselves from Airplane to Starship to just Starship.
Wasn't there a legal thing though with airplane into Jefferson Starship, or was that?
It,
I think there was a
think it was with
yeah.
going from Jefferson Starship to Starship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was like Starship featuring Mickey Thomas, later
Yeah.
on. So it made its. I mean, they got their money's worth out of that title, out of that band name.
You never really knew what to call them.
Right.
Yeah, they never really got commercial success. Commercially,
No, not too much. Not too much. I mean, they had a couple of. I don't know if they were top 10 albums or top 15 albums, but they had a lot of good songs. I mean, I like Jane. Jane is one of my favorites, and Find Your Way Back. Those are my two favorites.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's a big difference between old Starship and old Airplane and new Starship.
Right.
It's quite. I mean, it spans a lot of years.
It really does. I mean, if you're a band for that long, I mean, you're gonna change a little bit, but holy cow,
Yeah.
They had the band known as Jefferson Starship had one #1 album, Red Octopus.
Oh right, yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah,
that went double platinum, I think.
Yeah,
that thing was huge.
But then when MTV came out, they had success with out just under Starship.
Yeah,
the song "Winds of Change" and what was the other?
They had Sarah, and they had
Sarah.
We Built This City. And,
we built this city. Yeah. But yeah, a couple of those guys are not here anymore. The long
Paul
time
Kantner.
Paul Kantner is gone. One of the vocalists, Tolly Anderson, who was the vocalist with the Jefferson Airplane and Starship, oddly enough, he passed away the same day as Paul Kantner did.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
The same day. And they were the same age, too.
Wow.
They weren't born on the same day. They were like 8 months apart, but they were in both those bands.
Wow.
And they passed away on the same day. Yeah. 2016, 2018, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 16. Yep.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's crazy, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He is.
Wow.
Craig Chaquico. I think he played. What did he play, Charles? BC Riches?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, he played a lot of BC Riches. You could see it in some of the videos.
Yeah.
He's a great guitar player.
I think he had a BC Rich bitch in one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I saw him. I've seen a picture or video of him playing a Les Paul. He was playing one Les Paul, but he didn't play it all the time.
1995, I bumped into Craig Chaquico in an airport restaurant at DFW eating. I just waved and complimented his guitar player. That's cool, man. That's nice. Cool. Yeah, very cool.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the Carvins. That's right. The Carvins. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
At least you didn't go to Kiesel.
Well, same thing.
No, I know. Well, it is, but it isn't.
Let's call it Carvin. How's that?
Yeah, Justice for Jay.
Justice for Jay. You got that
Justice for Jay.
Oh man.
Yeah. Got you back, Jay. Got you, baby.
Absolutely.
Got you, dude.
That
Absolutely.
Lenny Lou liked White Rabbit. That was a trippy song. That was a trippy ass song. White
Yeah.
Rabbit. Man.
Yeah.
Sandra's too, I guess. White
They
Rabbit.
had some spouts in that band. There was Jefferson Starship in the early incarnation of that. They were playing in Europe, France or something, Germany, and Grace got really drunk and
Yeah.
started to say not so nice things to the audience.
Yeah, I think she was like cursing at the audience. Yeah,
And-
she imbibed a little bit.
Yeah, and
We'll put it that way.
Cantor and they kicked her ass out of the band.
Yep. I think you're gonna have to leave.
They did, and she left. But she came
did.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow. Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's rock star life. I've never had it, but Charles, you've been
Yeah.
around it enough. You know what happens.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
It's not all that glamorous, you guys.
No.
It's not. It's not. But it's wonderful.
Oh,
It's wonderful.
yeah.
No
You
doubt
don't want to
about it.
trade it, but man, it can be tough on you at some point.
And I didn't ask you this the other night, Charles, but I'm dying to ask you. Knowing a little bit of Motley Crue history,
Yeah.
did you ever, after work, walk up the hill like a lot of the other patrons did and hang out?
Yeah, I've been to the house a few times.
Nice.
Yeah. A couple of shows after the show, God, I could tell some stories, guys. So one night, you want to hear a Dubrow story? Which will transfer into a Quiet Riot?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
So it's another crew night. Crew's playing the whiskey. And this band named Dubrow was opening for them. And I didn't know anything about it. Didn't know anything, never heard the name. Never heard the name Kevin Dubrow before. And I walk up and I'm at the dressing room door for Motley Crue. And Nikki comes out. And he looks me in the eye and he says, Charles, he says, this guy Kevin has a habit, I'm going to quote him, of creating dissension everywhere he goes. I said, what? And he said, there's going to be drama. I don't know where the drama is going to come from. I don't know, but there's going to be drama. And I said, okay, is there something I need to deal with? And he said, just
be ready.
I'm just letting you know. That was just like that was the conversation, right? So I said, okay, cool. It wasn't 30 minutes later. And somebody was upset about something. He made a comment about somebody. And, I heard rumors ever since people started talking about Kevin can't get along with this. We hear Paul sometimes talking about him and this and that. And, Paul Marshall. And it's true. He was hard to deal with. He was a very aggressive, got his way no matter what kind of a rocker. Now, here's the other thing. He was good. He was real good. Mouth like an alligator, damn straight. Very good pipes. His band was good. But the band I saw him play with Dubrow was not the band that ended up being Rudy Sarzo,
right.
Carlos Cavazo. Okay, so it's an off night at the whiskey. I'm going to skip forward. The show went off. Let me back up. So the show goes on at the whiskey. It's Kevin opens, crew plays, intermission. Kevin opens, crew plays. And Dubrow was really good that night. And the boys, with the exception of Mick, were a little rusty and burned out. honest. That's just how it was. They were good, but they have played better. And so Nicky was not really happy about it. He was a little depressed. I could tell. I was walking him up the hill. I took his bass from him and I carried it. I got almost all the way up the hill that time. And I forget if it was somebody yelled to me from down at the bottom of the hill or somebody yelled from, I don't remember exactly, but anyway, I handed his bass back to him, shook his hand, gave him a hug, and I might see him later. That being said, let's fast forward a couple of weeks later, literally a couple of weeks later. It's like a Tuesday night, and this band called Snow was their name. They were a local LA fixture in the rock community. They had been together for years, literally for years. And to the point where one time I was talking with Vince and Tommy one time, and they were making comments about the band Snow. They were talking about Snow and how Snow had been doing the same thing for so long and it just wasn't happening for them. And they thought, it was their opinion, that they should try something different. Well, it's ironic that happened because, and they weren't bad talking. There was no bad talking. There was just straight up conversation. A couple of rockers having a conversation. I just happened to be listening to it. And so it's a Tuesday night, Snow's playing. They finish their first set. Here comes Kevin backstage. He's got a guy with him. You could always tell who the PR, the A&R, A&E guys for the record companies were, the executives. They always didn't quite fit in. They always were a little too clean cut, a little all business. They were always tagging along with somebody. It was ironic. But anyway, he comes up, he says hey to me. He goes straight up to the dressing room door and knocks on the door. They let him in, both of them, Kevin and the other guy. They go in. And about 3 minutes later, they come out with Carlos. They go down the hallway to the very back, to that back hallway I was talking about. And they were back there for about 5 minutes. When they came back, it was all hugs and kisses. And Carlos goes back in the dressing room. And Kevin and his buddy, they leave. The roadie for Snow comes out and he's all upset. He's mad. And he's like storming up and down the hallway. And I'm like, what's going on, man? What's up? And he goes, you don't do that. And I, what don't you do? And he says, man, Kevin Dubrow, he just came in there and stole our guitar player. That's what he did. He came in there and he got Carlos Cavazo. And I didn't realize the end result until I saw the end result of it.
Oh, no.
He was building Quiet Riot. Oh, and he took their guitar player right out from underneath him in front of my eyes. And and the thing about it is I'd seen Rudy Sarzo in there a couple of times. I'd seen him, and it was the way that Kevin orchestrated that whole thing and put it together. Goes back to that ferocity thing I was telling you about. And like I say, he was so good. If you've never seen him live, recording Snorting, live performance, pipes, that guy could sing. And he put together a really good band. But the song Metal Health is actually a Snow song that Carlos wrote. That whole riff, the three chord riff in the beginning of the song, well, that was a Snow song. And I'd been hearing, the thing about it is I hear it on the radio, right? I'm driving down the road and I hear Metal Health come on the radio. And I'm thinking, man, I've heard that somewhere before. And I remembered that it was a Snow song. It was the opening to their show. That's the song that they opened their show with. Well, every time I saw them, that's the song they played. It wasn't the same song, but that riff was in it. And Carlos wrote the song. So he took that riff. Him and Kevin wrote another song with it. There you go. Wow. So, yeah.
Is it being Kevin and Carlos, yeah, and it being 1981, is Randy in this equation anywhere?
Randy had already passed away. I remember the night that Randy died, The day that Randy died.
That was
It came all
82.
over the radio early in the morning. You were hearing it. I went to work. Everyone was in tears. There were cocktail waitresses who knew he was a fixture on the Sunset Boulevard. He played the Whiskey. He played the Roxy. They played the Starwood. They played the Troubadour. I don't believe they played Gazzarri's, but they may have.
With Kevin.
No, I don't think so. I'm not exactly sure about the prehistory on that.
Randy spent time with Kevin.
Oh yes, yes,
right.
Yes. But the exact timeline, I'm not sure of, Tony.
Right.
Sketching that. But he put together a super group, and the thing about it is it's funny because I was going back to when Tommy and Vince were sitting on the stairs talking about Snow. They made the comment about what a great guitar player Carlos was. And I'm standing there just listening, nodding my head, going, I love Carlos. He's great because he's a great guitar player. He shined in Snow. He shined in Snow. And I used to look forward to seeing him because I saw him play. They played all the time. I'll tell you another story, quick one. Metallica story. So Metallica wasn't really a thing in 1981. They were a thing, but they were a new thing. Okay. And so I'm in the Whiskey and I'm standing in the back between the kitchen and the office. And I'm looking at the board that showed all the bands that were going to be coming over the next 30 days. They post it, keep it current. And I'm looking at it and there's somebody standing next to me. I sense a presence next to me and I look over and this guy looks at me and he goes, Chuck. He goes, how you doing, man? And I said, I look at him, I didn't recognize him. You know who he was? He was a rocker. He's standing there in black leather cowboy boots, black leather pants, the baddest ass leather jacket you've ever seen with a Harley Davidson motorcycle chain belt on, clean shaven, long hair. And he goes, hey, I'm James Hatfield.
Yeah.
And he says, my band Metallica, we were just upstairs talking to, I can't think of her name, the girl who did the booking. He said, we're just upstairs talking. They're going to get us in. We're going to do a show. Now, the music they were playing in those days was like garage band Metallica, the garage band days. Well, it was very similar to that. Nothing discernible. I was not into them. I didn't know anything about them. He introduced himself because he'd seen me backstage. Evidently, I'd said hello to him or something in the past. I talked to a lot of people, so I didn't know. But what a nice guy. What a nice, friendly guy. And so he's, you got to love him. Now, I've heard some reports. People say, well, he's this and that. No, when I met him, he was an absolute gentleman. Wonderful dude.
It really depends on the day. It depends on the situation too, and and being new like that, I'm sure.
Yeah,
early on,
brand spanking new.
Early on,
new.
But yeah, I mean, and I never met the guy, but I've seen him on some podcasts later on. He did a Joe Rogan podcast like a few years ago, talking about beekeeping and some other stuff, and he's a decent guy, But some they always say don't meet your heroes, but everybody has a bad day, so you can't.
There you go. Yeah.
But and sometimes you only get one chance to meet these people, so you got to give them a benefit of the doubt. But that's cool though. He was really cool. That's awesome.
And they just wanted to play the Whiskey. That's all he says. He says, I've been dying to play this place. We're going to play. We're going to get to play. We're booked. They put us on the schedule. I said, that's great, man.
Yeah.
I saw him play a couple of times.
Cool.
It was just, it didn't stand out like it does now. At the beginning of time, I didn't know anything about it, so I was just.
I mean, it's hard, but it's cool that you've seen a lot of these people when they first start, and you're like, yeah, man, I remember, I saw them when, not a lot of people can say that, so that you'll always have that. That's awesome.
I've got some Van Halen stories we'll keep for another time.
Save those for tomorrow. Save those for tomorrow.
Yeah, but we'll keep them for another time, and we'll do a couple of those.
Let's get that pick away. Let's get that pick away, Tony.
Yeah, let's give it away. How about that one right there?
Nice pick, Tony.
Starship Craig Chaquico guitar pick.
You're not allowed to win it though, Charles. You're not allowed to win it
It's
today.
unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's all right though.
Because you'll probably
All
know
right.
the answer.
I want the chat to get it.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, kids, you know the drill. I'm going to put one question up about Jefferson Starship. The first one in the chat will be our winner. Hey, Will, you're just in time for trivia. Good luck, everybody. If you are the winner, there's an email address down below. Email me your name and number, and I will mail you this Starship Craig Chaquico pick out Monday morning. Good luck. And let's find the question here. Where is the question? Randy, how's it going, dude? Welcome. All right, so get ready to type, because here we go.
Good luck.
Grace Slick and Mickey Thomas provided background vocals on what 1985 Heart, the band Heart, top 10 single? Name that tune.
And on those thinking caps and those fingers moving.
All right, let's see. Music Therapy Laz is here. There it is.
And it's Music Therapy Laz.
Excellent. Excellent.
Laz, you did it.
Very cool.
All right.
Very cool.
What about Love?
Jeff K, BC Rich, Lenny Lou, all in behind him, right behind him. Chris Sawa, right behind him. Very nice.
What about Love from the 85 album called Heart, Mickey Thomas and Grace Slick?
Isn't it cool? Isn't it cool that that Charles had a good Heart story too? You know,
I know.
At the beginning,
I
don't know. Nancy and Ann, or my friend Dave. Yeah, sorry, Dave. Gotta go.
Yeah. Music
That's
Therapy Laz, you have won here tonight on Show
Great
Me
job.
Your Pick.
Congrats, Laz. Very
And
cool,
I'm
man.
wondering why you hadn't won already, you know.
But now that he has one, he's going to be one of the few to be eligible for something else, right, Tony?
Yes. So everybody in the chat, listen up. I see a few past winners in here. We have about, I don't, how many more weeks? We're at 45, 7 more weeks.
Yep.
Mid-June, we are going to approach our 1-year anniversary here at Show Me Your Pick. And we do a trivia giveaway every week here on the show. And on that 1-year anniversary, we are going to take all this year's winners. You have to be present in order to win. And there is going to be a cool super prize to one of you. So there's a few people I'm looking at here who have won a couple of times. I appreciate that, Chris. Thanks for your support, buddy. There have been, I see a few of you have won here. So you that haven't won, you have still a few more weeks in order to be eligible. Hey, Guitar Hack, nice to see you, sir. So we are going to take all our past winners. You have to be here on that show. I'm not sure who the artist that night is going to be, but it is going to be a grand prize to our 1-year anniversary winner. We appreciate everybody and your support of this show. Very young show. We've started from the ground, trying to build. Yeah, so thank you to everybody and your support. Yeah, this has been lots of fun this past year. And I'll tell you, I got a huge long list of each week topics that we're going to cover. And we are just getting started here. I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So, yeah, awesome. So, let's take care of a couple of matters. Now, you guys know that I'm a huge collector and I buy memorabilia from all over the whole world. And there are people that I deal with on a regular basis, some once in a while. This is how I met Steve Rosen to start with, was in the memorabilia world. But I want to take a moment, those of you who collect memorabilia as well, and I see a couple of you in the chat, I want to recognize, and I'm going to bring it up here on the screen. I want to recognize a very cool eBay store. You can, everybody notice that on the screen, B?
I can see it.
You see that? All right. So this eBay store is called Concertware. And Ken and Kelly are out of New York, and they have memorabilia from guitar picks, backstage passes, and all kind of other stuff. Very cool store, great prices. They have a 99.9 rating.
Wow.
They ship fast. And their prices are excellent. And I highly recommend them. If you're looking memorabilia, they've got it. Lots of guitar picks. If you shop their store, you'll be there all night. They have so much stuff, as you can see.
Yeah, it's a lot. Jeez.
Yeah. And as you can see, I mean, you look at this there in the middle and you look at the price, great price, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah. And they will not let you down. I don't know how. I buy stuff from eBay. There's groups that you trade with, and you make your deals individually with individuals in the group.
Cool.
But Ken and Kelly are awesome, and they will not let you down. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. we don't
Good.
spotlight a lot of these people here on this show. Maybe we should, but Ken and Kelly are the first people that come to my mind. And I wanted to give them a huge shout out on the show tonight. Concert wear on eBay. Check them out. Yeah, they have got cool stuff there. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have to check them out after the show.
Yeah.
Take a
Dude,
peek.
they are awesome.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah. Yeah. You too, Will. Nice to see you, dude.
Yeah, that's good, Randy. It's a good point. They didn't jack up their EVH pick prices through the roof after he passed away. So that right there is respect for the customer, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it could have very easily probably doubled their price and people would still pay it, you know?
And
So,
they are, and everybody who you deal with has their own little quirks. Some
Sure.
have big stores, some have little, some ship quick, some not so quick. But these people, if you need to ask them, it's always quick on the reply. Shipping is always, it's quick. It's just as they describe in the listing every time without fail. Yeah.
cool.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So let me show you some Jefferson Starship stuff here. So, music therapy, Laz. This one is yours, my friend. I'm going to put it aside. Email me your name and address. The email is down below in the description. Okay. So, with this band, you've seen where I have a ton of guitar picks from, whatever band. I don't have a lot of this band, but I've got the cool ones. I have the cool ones. So this is a Mickey Thomas.
I love those bigger picks. Like those are like bass picks, kind of, right?
Well,
Or the same
this
kind of
one is
shape.
not, but yeah, a
It's
lot
like
of bass
like a jazz
players
bass.
like the triangle. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the triangle. That's a nice triangle too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That's a Paul Cantor from
Yep.
a few years ago. Rest in peace, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
A nice pick right there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Slick Aguilera right there.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's try to get us a thumbnail. What do you think?
Nice.
Looks good.
Think it all will fit?
Maybe. Close enough.
Not looking good. Tell you what, let's do. We'll do it like that.
That'll work. Smile and see cheese.
It's good.
See Jefferson Starship.
All right, that's gonna be your thumbnail right there. All right.
Nice.
Very nice.
Cool, cool.
All righty. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I've got a couple of new things in, but I don't think I'm going to show them because they pertain to next week's subject matter. So we'll
Yes.
just wait till next week. How's that?
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Music
works.
Therapy Last, congratulations, dude. I'm glad you won, man.
Congrats,
About,
man.
about
Yep,
time,
awesome.
dude. About time.
Awesome. Way to go.
I thought he would have won a few times up to now. But better late than never. Hey, Charlie S.
Absolutely.
All right, so okay. I think I have covered a lot of ground here. Let's now this guy right here, he
Hi.
handcrafts custom cigar box guitars,
I do have a few.
and he
Can't get
will
it.
certainly
Here's one.
handcraft you one to your specifications. His links are down below. bjvoice@gmail.com if you're listening while you cook on the replay there.
Yep.
Um,
Send me an email.
Yeah.
We'll talk. Whatever you want. I'll make it.
yeah. And he is also, at this current time, he is making a run of Van Halen inspired striped cigar box guitars. $300 will get you one. He has some that are being made. He has a few that are in the kettle right now.
Yep.
That he is unable to show us, but you're
limited run.
gonna see a handful of those things very soon. No two are alike, and they look awesome. So keep that in mind. Hit him up. His links are down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Very soon. Unveiling soon.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Excited about that.
Cool.
Yeah. So with that said, let's bring in our lovely co-producer here at Show Me Your Pick that keeps things organized, in check, keeps us all fed and hydrated. Make sure we're all good and dressed and shaven and stuff. She knows.
He's awesome.
That crap I forgot.
She is. Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely Sandra right there. She is.
Yay.
And make sure their shoes are tied.
I'm wearing sandals.
I'm not wearing shoes.
Yep.
I'm wearing socks.
No, all right.
Yes.
Make sure there's no holes in your socks then. That's what she does for you.
I know.
Charles,
check.
man, that was amazing. You have got to come back on a regular basis.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you. This has been a real treat for me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Charles. This has been
I love
great,
this
man.
chat. I love all you guys. This is a good community. Very
awesome.
good community.
Yeah. Yeah, Charles. This has been such a treat.
Yeah, you're natural at this, Charles. Definitely.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, well, I think you are.
You were
Yeah.
great.
I beg to differ.
Well,
I bet the chat says that you were great too. So
Yeah, they have been the whole show.
I'm sure.
That's
the
my
chat
thing.
rules.
Hey,
Lenny Lou's not wearing
You
pants.
guys.
Well, hey Lenny, how you doing? That's funny.
Good for you.
That's awesome.
Cool. Good deal.
Yes, he does.
Sweet, man. It was a good time.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Charles.
Thanks,
And
guys.
you,
Thank
sir, are welcome back here anytime. I hope you come back next week.
Thanks, you
You're
guys.
the best,
Appreciate it.
Charles
Appreciate
Greene. You are such a big part of this whole community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you support many shows, music shows on YouTube, and those
appreciate it.
shows are greater because of you, sir.
I
Thank
couldn't
you.
do it without
Thank
you.
you. I
So
appreciate
thank
that.
you.
man. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. And hey, I've got a cool announcement. Mr. Charles Greene will be here tomorrow night with us talking all things Van Halen at 10 Eastern.
Cool.
Nice.
Johnny, I think that guy right there is going to hang out a while. She'll be around. So everybody in the chat, come by tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Halenville Live, all things Van Halen. Yeah. All right, kids.
Sweet.
Yes,
So
dinner time.
yeah, I'm hungry.
I know, right?
I am
Yeah, man.
hungry. So, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being here. This has been a lot of fun. Mr. Charles Greene, thank you, sir, for being here. Brandon, Sandra,
Rock on, you guys.
hang out a
Yeah.
minute, Charles. I'm going to run the outro here. Everybody, have a great weekend, the rest of your weekend. Have a great week upcoming. We hope to see you right back here next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, for another edition of Show Me Your Pick. See ya!